Hello. Welcome back to another Tech Ambrosia stream. I hope everybody's had a good week. It feels a little weird, but also good to get back into the weekly streaming thing. Even if I don't really have a whole lot to stream today, I'm just trying to get back into the routine of it. And yeah, we're just gonna talk about better times in computing, the 90s and the 80s. And maybe play some classic Mac games. I've got got my Mythintosh Quadra 600 here to the left of me, which I'll show you in a minute. But I hope everybody's having a good week. I hope your weekend is treating you well. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to go over from me, and not a whole lot that's new. So I don't know. I guess let's just jump right in, huh? So if we've got anybody here, I see Francois Raval is here in the chat. Hello, welcome. Good to see you. Everything is Broken Garage is here. Hello, hello. Right? Exactly. Everything is Broken Garage says it's time to remember a time before subscriptions and when you owned your purchased software. Right? So nice. The internet was going to be such an amazing, life-changing thing, right? And then it all got used for subscriptions. Every piece of software checks in and phones home and makes sure that you have a valid subscription. Dave Starbuck is here. Hello. Welcome to the stream, Dave. Hello, hello. And Harney Barrow is here. Hello, hello, hello. Harney Barrow says, after getting a thin client, I now understand why Steve Jobs wanted the original Macintosh to be fanless. It is real nice, isn't it, to just have a machine that makes zero noise? It is real nice. It is real nice. Yeah. The one that I have for my home theater is still going strong. It's working great. We watch episodes. My partner and I watch episodes on it. It'll do some light gaming. It helps that the projector it's plugged into isn't terribly high resolution, but it does work. And it's I've got it running KDE Neon, and it works great. I really like it. And of course, no noise. Makes zero noise. Not a fan in sight in that thing. It's great. Yeah. Yeah. Windows, yeah, everything's broken garage says Windows Server is headed that way. Imagine your credit card changes and you lose your subscription on your corporate server. What happens then? Yeah. Then they, then you're encouraged to move to the managed cloud services where they can give you a 1 week grace period on that. When did computing become evil? I think it was the mid 2000s, 2005, 2006. Things started to get evil, and it really ramped up in like 2015. That 10-year period is where things went from like this might be bad to this is bad, and now in the last 10 years it's been how bad can it get? The answer is pretty bad. Oh man! All right. Anyway, let's show you the hardware, because I've got hardware on my bench today. It's like I'm a real streamer. All right, desk cam. Cool. Do I have? Oh, what is? Why is my? Oh, hang on a sec. Sorry. This is cutting off Clippy. I can't have that. That's my A-cam in the corner. I want desk cam. Get in there. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have Clippy. Look at this guy. He's being so helpful. It looks like you're trying to stream. Would you like help? You can get help with not posting cringe, or you can continue streaming unaware of cringe. I'll take the second option, Clippy. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for looking out for me. Yeah, so this is if you haven't joined in a while, this is the new and improved desk cam. Which is to say, it's definitely new, but it's not improved. I just don't have enough space to work. You can see like how little room I've got. Here's one of those skinny 20-ounce bottles for comparison with the 16.9-ounce bottle. One of these, yeah. 500 milliliter Pepsi bottle for comparison. It's just not enough space. It's just not enough space. I gotta figure out a new desk thing. Anyway, this is the Mythintosh. This is a 3D printed case that encloses all of the innards for a Centris 610, excluding the floppy drive, although I have a slot for the floppy drive, because it turns out the floppy drive for the Centris 610 has 4 little mounting holes on the bottom of it, right where you'd expect to like be able to screw it into like a drive carrier or maybe even a case or something. Not a single one of those is tapped. They're all untapped holes. Why did you do that? And like it's a genuine Sony drive. Like Sony, what are you doing? Gotta save those 3 cents per drive on tapping those holes. So I had designed a nice carrier on the inside of this thing to hold that right in the right place so that the slot on the external of the case works. No threaded holes for the floppy drive. I'm gonna have to thread them myself, I think. Gutbomb says that beautiful case. This is wild. Big thanks to Gutbomb for teaching me how to use Onshape, because that's how I built this thing. There's no way I could have modeled this in Tinkercad. Not a chance in the world. But I've got like a fully functional like Apple IIc style carrying handle, and it does work. It holds the weight of the machine. I actually carried it up from my car because I pulled it out of the storage unit this morning, carried it up from my car using that handle. Perfectly fine. Get this audio cable out of the way here. Got some rubber feetsies on the bottom of it so it doesn't move around on my desk, which is nice. Yeah, we got the little platinum pinstripes in there. So it's fun because like this printed on my SV08. I have a big 350 by 350 millimeter Soval SV08, and this whole bottom piece here, this whole side here, and then this top piece here, it all prints in one piece on the build plate, which is I gotta say, it's kind of a little terrifying to watch it print because you're like, that is like half of a roll of RAL 7044, which is like $35, $40, $45 per kilogram 3D printer filament. I hope it completes. And yeah, this was the first print of this, and it worked just fine. Francois says now you need to integrate an LCD and a pop-up keyboard. You could, honestly. Like, if you put this thing down on its side, you could probably do that, actually. And, we want to take it apart? I guess we could take it apart. I'm going to scooch over here. Just have to leave that camera, but yeah, we'll switch over here and y'all can see the insides of this thing. So the back end comes off like you would expect. It's got some latches. But yeah, there's the Centris 610 in there. And you can see I made this carrier thing, and you're supposed to put the floppy drive here. I've got some little, you can't quite see them, but they don't quite show up on the camera, but there's some screw holes there for mounting the floppy drive, which don't work, obviously, because the floppy drive doesn't have any threaded holes. But we've got the main speaker for it is held in here, and this thing, I'm real proud of this interstage here, because it prints in one piece upside down. Just on from here, this is the build plate, so it flips around and prints that direction, so you get all the little standoffs on here that go down to the motherboard. They print sticking up. Same with this mount for the speaker. It prints upside down, or prints sticking up from the build plate. Thinking in 3 dimensions. But yeah, we got like a cooling fan in the back here. I have a heatsink on this 68040. I actually swapped the LC040 that's in this with a 68040. And then of course there's the power supply. I I neglected to put a stopper on the front, so when you plug the power supply in, it does press forwards into the front of the case. At some point, I'd like to make this thing available for people if they want to do this mod to their own Centris 610s, but until then, I have a lot of things I need to fix about this. And the way this power supply works in the stock machine is this is facing the desk, so it's flipped 180 degrees here. And this fan is supposed to be an exhaust fan, so you gotta open up your power supply and flip your fan around and remove the spark arrestor that's on the fan grill. I didn't realize there was a spark arrestor in this power supply. Yikes. But flip it around, turn it into an intake, then it intakes through. You can see I've got a cutout in the top case for the fan, and it'll pull in fresh air. There's only one set of vents. It's not a sealed power supply case, but the main vents for this thing are on this side. Because it's supposed to be flipped 180 degrees, they'd be on this side in the actual Centris, which would, pull warm air through the case over to the right side and then exhaust it out, basically out the bottom, onto the desk. And in this case, it pulls it in from the side of the case and then pushes that fresh-ish air, down this way. Around, there's a curved section in here that pushes it down towards the motherboard, and it goes all the way up through the motherboard. I've got slits in the top of the case here modeled in, and then of course there's this fan here that's an exhaust fan to try and pull that fresh air up through the case and get everything cool. Seems to work. So far, so good. Anyway, it's not a perfect build, but it works okay. This is my first attempt. I used up an entire roll of RAL 7044 with this, and it turned out okay, I think. I've got a 2 kilogram spool of RAL 7044, so I can try again. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Dave Starbucks says, what? No RGB? Surprisingly, no RGB in that one. No RGB. Gutbum says, I just sent you a picture of some discs I'm archiving. What did you send me? Today's casual stream, folks. It is a casual stream today. I'll pull up my Discord. Oh, heck yeah. Very nice. Good stuff. Yeah, you saw the thumbnail. That is, it's Photoshop version 1.0 that's floating around the Retro Mac web. And it works. It's real primitive, but it works. Let's go back to this. I did just pick up on eBay, just before stream, an ADB graphics tablet for a classic Mac. And I found the matching pen for it, thanks to, there's, what is this project? There's a project to, track Wacom tablets and their compatible pens across, every tablet that Wacom's ever made. And it's really useful. So it's the only way I was going to track down the compatible pen for this thing. It's this tablet that is almost 40 years old. I imagine it probably still works. I don't think there's a whole lot to these things. They're a positional emitter, just basically a big radio frequency thingamabob in the base, and then you've got a pen that's basically just a coil of wire that interacts with that field. It just works through inductance. I'm pretty sure the Wacom tablets just work through inductance. Almost an entirely passive system. It's actually really clever, but I imagine it'll still work. It'll be fun to see if it does. I'm willing to take the chance, and if it does, and do some graphics tablet stuff with a vintage Mac. That'll be a good time. That'll be a good time. One of the things you might see behind me, for example, is, let me flip over to the ACAM again. There we go. And pop the socials out. You can see you see just behind me, here, there's a little sign on the wall. I made this. I'll explain it. You may have noticed on my socials that I'm letting my furry side in a little bit more on my socials. This is one of the things that I've been working on, is these funny warning signs that have like furry jokes on them. I'm hoping at some point to actually like produce these and sell these. I've purchased a funny domain, and the thing is though, like, you want to sell stuff like this, you got to go make it, right? Like, this all has to be original intellectual property. So I fired up Illustrator for the first time in like 30 years. The last time I used Illustrator was version 5.5. It's good to know, modern Illustrator, basically the same program. Not a whole lot has changed since 1998, which is kind of wild. But, like, you know, you can use Illustrator with a pen and tablet, and I think it might be fun to like fire up Illustrator 5.5 and throw it on one of my old Macs with one of these ADB drawing tablets and see how it is. Is it as bad as I remember it being? Have Wacom tablets improved at all in 30 years? I guess we'll find out. But that's going to be a future stream for sure. It'll be fun. Anyway, let's fire up this old Mac and, I don't know, maybe just live like it's the 90s, hey? So we'll swap over here to the capture card. We'll hit this, get my microphone over here. Get a chime on the Macintosh. I'm using an actual Apple AAUI adapter here for Ethernet. You can see it, maybe you can see it blinking away there. Probably not. It looks like that's too small to see on that camera. But yeah, we've got real live 2025 internet plugged into this 1993 Mac. What I would love to do is like modify the ROMs on this thing to make it actually say that it's a Macintosh Quadra 600, because it'd be funny. It would be funny. But yeah, here it is. I've got a few things installed on this OS. If you've been here before, you know this machine. I do love me my Quadra 610 for some reason. But yeah, I was doing a comparison this morning, setting up for stream, looking at, like, if I took out all my funny extensions, like, how much memory do I save on this OS? It turns out it pulls System 7's memory usage down by about half. About half. It's like 2.5 megs of RAM instead of 5.5 megs of RAM. If I boot it with none of these weirdo extensions. But you know what? These are fun. It's stuff like being able to drag whole windows around, and I'll show you another one that I really like. Although sometimes it's not super helpful. Let's see if I can do. I need games. Where is the cat? The cat is not in that games folder. I have games on my internal, or on the primary hard drive image. The cat. It's a port of Neko to a desk accessory. Desk accessories are fun because they were the first example of multitasking in macOS way back with the original Mac. You could get, like, you know, I think System 3. I think it wasn't the original Mac, but a later release in that series. You get, like, a calculator. There's your desk accessory. You can tell it's a desk accessory because it uses the all black title bar. And the important part about a desk accessory was that it could run alongside another app. If you remember the old Mac OS, you could only run one app at a time. But you could open up a desk accessory alongside your app. So if you had a spreadsheet open on your Mac Plus or whatever, your Mac 512, you could open up the calculator as well, if you needed to. If your spreadsheet was really bad and didn't do its own math. I don't know. The important part, though, is that Neko here will continue running if it's not the foreground application. But you might know a thing about the classic Mac OS is that as soon as you hit the menu bar up here at the top, as soon as you hold down the mouse button on that menu bar, 100% of the CPU performance is poured into the menu bar. It's a holdover from the original Mac, where you did a toolbox call to get the menu bar, and it basically went into a big while loop. While the mouse button was held down, it was only doing menu bar stuff. Mostly because the original Mac, running on a 68K at 8 megahertz, with all of that, all those pixels on that display, with all, so little RAM, 128K of RAM, it needed all the help it could get to make a responsive graphical user interface. So basically, it just shoved 100% of the original Mac's horsepower into the menus so that they were responsive. And unfortunately, that is a thing that carried over all the way through Mac OS 9 and onward out. It's not present in Mac OS 10, thankfully. Obviously, we would really be complaining if it was still there. But at no point in classic Mac OS did Apple fix or patch or change that behavior from the original Mac all the way through Mac OS 9. When you held down a menu, everything else on the system stops. Except you might notice on this machine, it doesn't. It doesn't stop. What is going on here? If I hold down a menu here in the Finder, the cat keeps animating. That is an extension called Menu Tasker. It was one I found many years ago, and I love it. And it allows basically it just patches that loop where you get into the menus and it just starts doing a while loop. It patches that to allow system events out to background applications. Now technically it can't do anything about the foreground application. Neko here appears to not hook into the same loop. I don't know. Maybe desk accessories are different. But if we, let's say, even if I just open up like a text editor, right? We'll open up Teach Text. Like, here's some text, and the cursor blinks till I hold down the menus. Right? So here's our cursor doing its blinking, right? Blink, blink, blink. And then if I hold down, I'm going to move this over so we can see it. If I hold down the edit menu, it stops blinking because 100% of the CPU is now going to the edit menu or whatever menu I have open. There's no way that it can't. It's just the way that the OS is designed. If you've written software for classic macOS, you know about this. You gotta handle the menu call in there, and you have no control over it whatsoever, right? Those menus are they're not done by you. Those go into the toolbox calls, and you have no control over them. However, it won't blink the cursor in the background. That's annoying. We saw with the Neko that it will do stuff in the background. Let's see about if I. Sometimes the about this Mac, this unused block will blink back and forth on a couple of different numbers, and that's usually a good one. Let's see about the alarm clock. This is also a desk accessory, so it might behave differently. But like, right, so there it's moving along, and if I pull down a menu, it keeps moving. And we saw this just briefly with the Neko desk accessory, but if I pull down the menu here, you can see that it writes over the menu. Because again, this menu tasker extension kicks us out of that while loop in the menus. So nothing in this OS is expecting to be able to draw over the menus. It's not expecting the menus to be there. There are no like window bounds on these things. You're not expected to be able to draw there because the entire OS is supposed to be locked into the menu bar. Basically, time stops if you're a background application when the menu bar is held down, unless you have this extension installed, which I think is awesome because like, in what other operating system, right, can you just download a utility and completely change the way the entire OS functions? Like, this is like core functionality. Again, this is something that was so core to the OS that Apple never changed it. From System 1 all the way through Mac OS 9, it had the same behavior of not having anything running in the background when you held down a menu. Like, they acknowledged it was a problem so much that, like, in macOS 8, when you could finally click a menu and let it, it would open up and stay open by itself, it'll close itself after a bit so that you don't hang your entire computer. You don't accidentally click the menu bar and stop everything on your computer from running. It'll close the menu for you. Like, they acknowledge it's a real problem, but they never changed it. They never fixed it. They never patched it. It's so wild. But then some random programmer out there just decided to, hey, what if we patch this routine? What happens? It turns out it works pretty well. There's a couple of like badly behaved programs where if they're running in the background and you pull down a menu, your menus get really, really laggy. Because again, no part of the OS is expecting to be able to do anything while you have a menu pulled down. A good example of this is stuff it. If you're unstuffing something, especially something large in the background, and you try and use your menus, good luck with Menu Tasker installed, because normally, like it's unstuffing, it's generating a ton of I/O and CPU usage, and you hold down your button on the menu and you wait for a time slice to get to your menu bar, and then once the menu comes down, that's it. You've got full control over the machine. Your menus are snappy. You can go to whatever you wanted to get to. With Menu Tasker installed, it gets a little more annoying because you get your time slice, it draws the menu, but then it goes right back to stuff it. So it gets a little tedious to navigate menus with Menu Tasker installed. But other than stuff it, honestly, I haven't found a reason to not have this extension installed on a classic Mac, or especially if you're running an emulator where you have tons more CPU performance than you do on a hardware Mac. It makes life so much nicer to let background tasks continue while you're using your menus. So, we've got a bunch of comments in here. This was kind of a sore spot back in classic Mac days. I remember someone being quite pompous about Amiga Workbench and how superior it was, despite how it looked. Running at the weird 640x400 resolution. But you could pull down a menu in Workbench and it doesn't pause the whole machine. Francois says, now you have something else to print. Yeah, exactly. Francois worked on some replacement feet for the PowerBook 500 series through the week, and they look really good. And yeah, I need a replacement foot for my 520C. I think my 520C probably needs more than just a replacement foot, but I've got to open it up yet. I know that it's missing it. One bit says, have I been summoned by System 5 and below? Francois says, yield. Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. Gut Bomb says it's hot in here. One bit refuses to play nicely, refuses to do the cooperative multitasking because one bit only makes games for System 6 without Multifinder. So just so you know. So it's interesting. Gutbomb says, so in the early days of Mac OS X, the menus still lock up the whole machine. I would go into the Apple Store, open a menu, and press Command-Shift-M over and over again. Command-M makes the active window minimize. Shift makes it slow motion, and the menu being open caused that to buffer. So someone would come up and click the menu away, and the window would slowly minimize and maximize over and over again. So in early Mac OS, or early Mac OS X, things were weird. A Cocoa app shouldn't lock up the whole machine when you hold down the menu bar. So here's the thing, right? So maybe you don't know this, but in Mac OS X, obviously it comes from NextStep, right? It comes from OpenStep. OpenStep, NextStep don't have a concept of a top menu bar in their OS. They've got like the side menus that you can dig down through and you can peel off and whatever. Maybe you can't peel off. I keep thinking of that. Maybe that's a Linux thing. But like there's no concept of a top menu bar, right? A universal system-wide menu bar in macOS X. So Apple had to implement it fresh. And the way they did it is they put it in the program's main thread, at least early on. So like what that meant was that you got some weird behavior in Cocoa applications, where at worst it shouldn't lock the whole machine up, but holding down the menu bar in OS X in a Cocoa app might freeze that app completely. It might freeze that app solid. There is also the Carbon library, if you remember Carbon, where you could take an app running on classic macOS, and then it would launch natively on macOS X with macOS X widgets and everything. Those also functioned essentially like classic Mac applications. If you held down the button on your menu bar, that whole app would freeze. Because again, it was basically just a classic Mac application running in OS X with native widgets. But again, it wouldn't lock up the whole computer. It would just lock up that app. Or it should only lock up that app. Depending on what you're using to run macOS X. If you were an ex post facto kind of a person like I was, and you were trying to run macOS X on like a 603E, it very well could lock up the whole computer. Oh, that was a bad time. But yeah, absolutely, if you open an app and you held down its menu bar. So the other thing is, if you switch from app to app on a really slow machine, like a 604 non-E, like a 133 megahertz 604, or like a 603E, you switch from app to app, you can see that top menu bar basically get wiped out and rewritten by the next app as it like plops its menu bar in place. It's basically like a bunch of windows overlaid over the top of one another. And Apple didn't really fix this until, like 10.6, I think? Whenever they introduced the transparent top menu bar, that was basically when they said, oh, hey, by the way, we fixed the menu bar system. It no longer just layers a bunch of windows over the top of one another. Ugh, it was bad. It was bad. Okay, Gutbomb says, yes, you can peel off the menus on NextStep. That's what I thought. I thought they had peel-off menus. Yes, and that's the thing, too. Gutbomb says, yeah, I was doing it to the Finder, so it was locking the Finder thread. And the Finder was Carbon for the longest time, right? Like, how long did it take Apple to get a Cocoa Finder? Like, it was the #1 requested feature in the public beta. And then 10.0, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, give us a Cocoa Finder, a native Cocoa Finder. Did they do it in 10.6 or was it like 10.7 that it took them until they actually like re-implemented the Finder in the native OS X Cocoa libraries? It took so long, just a wildly long amount of time. So again, yeah, you were doing exactly what I was talking about with the Carbonized app. You held down the menu in there, and the whole app is frozen. That whole app is frozen. Gutbomb says the first Cocoa Finder is the one that was metal-themed, I think. I thought the metal theming was for Carbon apps. Maybe I'm wrong. The one that was metal-themed. Was that? I don't know. I thought it took them a really long time to like rewrite the Finder in Cocoa. All right, I'm gonna go Google search. Well, DuckDuckGo, because I don't use Google anymore. Let's see. Macintosh Finder. Wikipedia probably knows. Somebody kept track of it. It was a big deal back in the day. Like, when is the Finder going to be Cocoa? Timeline. Let's see. Nope, that's timeline of macOS 10 versions. That's not. Do. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Daring Fireball. That's a name I haven't heard in forever. Wow, I forgot about that line. Introducing macOS 10 in 2000, Steve Jobs criticized the original Finder, saying that it generates a ton of windows and you get to be the janitor. The thing about classic Finder windows, though, is that they're... what's the word I'm looking for? The Finder does a really good job of making them feel permanent. Like, you know in Windows, you've got your desktop, right? And then you can open up a window that looks at the contents of your desktop. And you can open up another window and browse to your desktop, right? The desktop folder on your Windows machine. So you've got 3 windows that are showing you your desktop. But on classic Mac OS, this is it. This is your desktop, right? You can't get a window view of this. You can't accidentally browse to it. Like if you're going to open a document in an application, open up this copy here and do an open. Let's do an open dialog box. There's no open dialog box. Wow! No open dialog box. We'll do JPEG view. This should have an open dialog box. Yeah, so you've got an open dialog box, right? You have a desktop button. It takes you to your desktop. That's the closest you can get in classic Mac OS to like having a window view of your desktop. Because it's meant to be a physical metaphor, right? And it's not just the desktop. So let's say I open up this pictures folder, right? And then I have a bunch of other stuff open. I've forgotten where this folder is. I'm just gonna stuff all this stuff all over. Right, here's the generating a ton of windows, and I get to be the janitor, right? Well, what if I want to find my pictures folder? Right, so I know my pictures are on my hard drive, and I open pictures. And it's smart enough to bring the window to the front. It doesn't open another pictures window, like modern macOS Finder, or like Windows Explorer. It's like, yeah, you already have this folder open. I'll just bring the window to the front. It's the same with like changing these icons to be open folders and open applications. Like it keeps track of like where you've been and what you've been doing. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'll just bring that window to the front. It's no big deal. Yeah, you've already got that open. Here, let me show it to you. It's just way more friendly. It's just way more friendly. But we all know Steve Jobs is high on his own supply. It generates a ton of windows and you get to be the janitor. Man, oh man. That guy could just get on stage and say stuff. And people would believe him. It was wild. Oh yeah, I do have the most important application ever created. This is a very important application, and I don't think Garth is here, but this is Garth Beagle's AI assistant parrot. Just sits on your desktop and makes noise. It's great. Oh, it's a classic along the lines of Jared. If you've never seen Jared, do I have a copy of Jared on here? Yes, I do. Of course I have a copy of Jared on here. Another extremely important piece of software. Jared's very important. Jared just sits in the corner, sings his song. Ah. 2009. Oh yeah, 10.6. Yeah. That's what I thought. It took them until Snow Leopard to like fix the frickin' Finder. Hey, Rose is here. Hello, welcome to the stream, Rose. How's it going? John says, yay for no more Google. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get it out of my life as much as possible. Switch to Firefox. I'm doing LibreWolf on some of my devices. No Chrome here. I ain't got no Chrome on this machine. Oh, Gmail's gonna be hard to switch from. I've got a very embedded in Gmail, unfortunately. Yeah, John says Modern Finder has quite a few poor design choices. I'm not a fan. Man, I'm not a fan of the modern macOS Finder. Yeah, Gutbombs is one of the things I really like about OS X Finder, brought in from NextStep, is the column view, which was kind of cool. You know, like you can dig through. If you've seen column view before, you can dig through your folders, and they go, you know, from left to right. You know, you've got like there'd be your drives. You click on a drive, you go to a folder. You click on the folder, you go in through another folder. Like you get your breadcrumbs all the way back. The problem I have with column view is it's really stupid. If I say I have a shortcut, right, to a folder somewhere, either on my dock or on my sidebar on my Finder, and I click it, right? Column view does not show me the breadcrumbs back from that folder because it's stupid. I don't know why they didn't bother to do that. Like you have all the processing power in the world and you can't show me my breadcrumbs back from my folder. You know, if I hold down Command key here, I've got my breadcrumbs back from my folder in classic macOS. Like you can't do that on an M4 Mac. You can't show me breadcrumbs, right? I can always figure out where I am on my hard drive. And again, if you pick one of these, Finder's smart enough to bring it to the front for you, not open another window. I just think classic macOS Finder is like brilliant software. Like the folks who designed it were thinking with their whole brains when they made this one. I really appreciate it. Software these days doesn't feel like it's designed by people thinking with their whole brains anymore. It really doesn't. Every time I'm writing something like in Outlook and it's auto-suggests text to me that sounds completely insane, I'm like, who thought this was a good idea? What? Why is this here? I can type my own words, thank you very much. Like, what? Yeah, exactly. Gutbomb says, I do also hate that wherever you start from in the column browser is as far back as you can go. Yeah, it's so stupid. I bought a used, good condition M1 Mac Mini I think y'all probably may remember it. I had it for a couple of years. Maybe not a couple of years. I had it for about a year. I tried running all my stuff on it. It was my primary PC. I do my morning web surfing on it. I ran Discord on it. I would do my video editing for the channel on it. I tried to do some video capture on it. That didn't go super well. But like I tried to live with it. I tried to live with the M1 Mac Mini for a while. And the hardware, with one exception, the hardware wasn't what pushed me away. It was Mac OS. Modern Mac OS is so stupid. It's just such terrible software. Oh, man. Hey, Trina, how's it going? Trina's Technobabbles here. How's it going? Oh, we got a whole bunch of folks here. DIY is here. I. Modern macOS does the same thing, apparently. If you hold Command while clicking the title bar, you also get the breadcrumbs. Well, that's good to know. At least they kept that there. Because yeah, this is one of the best things about the Finder. One of several great things, honestly, about the Finder. Mavunky says it's great on a laptop, but terrible on a desktop. Yeah, I could see that. Like I had to buy and download a utility to make my mouse not suck in modern Mac OS. I'm like, really? Oh. Ah. Well, hey, congrats, Trina. That's awesome. So like that's the thing, right? So like I've jumped around from OS to OS over the years. I got started on Apple IIs and Macs that my dad owned when I was a kid. So I did a lot of classic Mac OS. I started with System 6. I used System 7 for a long time. Really loved it. Also loved Mac OS 8. Kind of bounced away from Mac OS for a little bit there when I was gifted a 486 from my uncle. That was a life-changing moment, to have a completely open computer that I could screw around with it to my heart's content. That was wonderful. But then I used I used Windows 95 with that, and of course 98, Windows 2000, Windows XP. Went all the way through the Windows lineup, really until, oh boy. I had a Mac. I sort of switched back to Mac when I went to college. I was early Mac OS 10 days. So like public beta, Mac OS 10.0, 10.1, 10.2, I think all the way up through Tiger, 10.4, PowerPC Macs. Didn't really have any interest in buying an Intel Mac. I had lots of Intel hardware because I was still messing around with PCs at the time. Had a lot of Intel hardware, didn't really want to make a Mac, or didn't really want to buy a Mac, so I made a Mac. I did the Hackintosh thing for a little while. I don't know, it was fine. 10.5, 10.6, that was basically when I fell off the Mac wagon, was 10.6. And then didn't get back on it until I picked up a used MacBook Pro, 2012, mid-2012 MacBook Pro, and put Catalina on it, and was that 10.13 or something? And just kind of used it again on a laptop. Worked great on a laptop, but used it as a secondary machine, right? Like my primary machine was still Windows, and then I had my old MacBook Pro as my secondary and mobile machine, and that was great. Honestly, I'd still have it if the adhesives inside it hadn't started turning to start smelling like farts. That sucked. That basically happened right before I moved. So it's been, I used that for like probably 2-3 years, which was actually pretty fun. Picked up some older Macs during that time. That's where the Black Book came from. If you saw the Black Book on this channel, I found a black MacBook Pro that was listed as is for like $50. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll take a chance on it. Turns out it just needed to have its battery removed and started up on a plug. 10.13 is High Sierra. Well, whatever Catalina is, it's like 10.15. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Trinas is 10.15. Yeah, that's it. 10. Something stupid. I'm kind of glad that they went to the major version numbers, macOS 11, 12, whatever. Although I miss the symbolicness of Mac OS X, because you have, according to the POSIX Foundation, right? If you have an operating system that ends in an X, right? You can apply for having a POSIX compliant operating system. And since Mac OS 10, Mac OS, the name no longer ends in an X. It's not technically POSIX compliance anymore, but that's just me being a nerd. Dave Starbucks says, if farts make you a computer, then I'm a supercomputer. That's a mood. That is a mood. Dave Starbucks says, I like Monterey. Is that the new one? I don't know. I ended up giving away the M1 Mac Mini to a friend. That's how much I didn't like it. I'm like, here, have it. Yeah, POSIX. Uh-huh. I know, it's the least relevant standard in 2025. It's POSIX compliance. I don't think anybody cares. Oh. Rose says, still weeping over my garbage bound G3. That's unfortunate. Yeah. It's still on my back burner, and I apologize to Garth Beagle for not working on it more diligently, but I am planning on making like a test bench and recase project for beige Power Mac G3s, because they're good systems, like they're terrific bridge machines. They can walk and talk in the modern world and also to the classic Macs. They're relatively inexpensive because a lot of people don't really care about them. But they're plenty fast as a classic Mac, and their case plastics are all disintegrating because it's like peak spindler plastic era. So yeah, they're in need of a recasing project, and I was going to work on that before I got all wrapped up in this move. This is kind of a proof of concept for that recasing project, is like, can I actually, design a case around a classic Mac motherboard and make it work? The answer is yes. So, yeah, this is sort of a precursor to the beige G3 recasing and test bench project. It'll happen. It'll happen. Monterey is Mac OS 12. This year we put a 12 on the box. Yeah, no, there's the early 2010 MacBooks, 2010, 2011, 2012. They were fantastic. Tanks. You could still like pull them apart with a screwdriver and upgrade them. They were so good. Gutbomb asks, did everyone see that Tom Barber toasted a bagel with his trash can Mac Pro? Finally, someone found a use for the trash can Mac Pro. Amazing, amazing. Trina says, wait, you're a nerd? Would never guessed. So I'm scrolling back up through chat because I missed a bunch. Watzak is here. Hello. Yeah, right? Yeah. Griping about the mouse. A desktop, yeah, if you don't have a Magic Mouse, the stupid, flip it over on its back to charge it, Magic Mouse. Right? Like, they're gonna, like, every time you use your computer, you're taking a a Voight-Kampff test, right? Like, you come across a magic mouse, it's flipped on its back, but you're not flipping it back over. Why is that? Okay, yeah, that's fair. Dave Starbucks is a trash can is a Mac Mini. It doesn't suck. Magic mouse with AA batteries. Did they actually make one of those? Because, like, yeah, that would be terrific. Trina says, let's talk about the Puck mouse. Let's not. No, let's talk about the first generation Puck mouse before they put the little divot on the button so you knew what direction was forwards. Because it was a perfect spheroid. You could not tell if you were actually you were actually using the mouse in the correct direction. Trina says Apple has never made a mouse I like. There's one mouse I really liked from Apple. And it's unfortunate. This one is extremely broken, though. The optical encoders in it are completely toast. But ye olde wedge mouse from like the 2GS and early ADB Mac era, like the Mac SE. Love the wedge mouse. This is such a classic design, and it feels so good to use. It's like just the right size. If I could get this, right, in a modern format with like the sensor, like an optical sensor moved up to here, where like this makes sense for putting your sensor, right, like up here instead of down at the bottom. Man, if I could get this in a modern form, I would so get it. That would be so good. Love that old wedge mouse. Yes, Cass Stark says, remember the plastic frames that snapped over the Puck mouse? Gave it a normal-ish shape. Yes, I do. Oh my gosh. Got Bump says, I have an extra one of those I'm going to send your way. I have so many. That one came with the keyboard that I'm using today, which I picked up on eBay for it's probably broken amounts of money, and it turns out it's not broken. This is the Apple Standard keyboard, because the name on it actually just says Apple Keyboard, so it's been retroactively renamed the Apple Standard keyboard. This is one of the ones with Alps switches in it, and it's real nice to type on. Yeah, picked this up on eBay. Quite lucky to find it on eBay for that's probably broken amount of money. And no, it's not broken. Works perfectly fine. I believe it is the Salmon Alps. I'm going to stick my microphone down here so y'all can hear it. But it sounds real nice. Yeah, no, it's nice. Good keyboard. GeForce Flies here. Hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're just talking about, like, days gone by. Oh no. Rose says, as a kid, I smashed my mom's MacBook screen twice. It still worked. That poor screen. The screens are the most expensive part of that computer to replace. Especially if they got like the laminated glass screens. Oh, that's a thing I never want to have to replace on a laptop. Hot dang. So I guess let's play some games, I guess. I'm chatting, playing some games. The one I want to show y'all, and I'm annoyed that I didn't really get to do a lot of Bolo this March in Marchintosh, because I think there were attempts to do like huge multiplayer Bolo matches over Global Talk. That would have been fun. The game I want to show you though is where is it? Rescue. Rescue is wild. So I found out about Rescue way back in the day. Eventually, the person who made it like got a cease and desist from Paramount about it because it's you can see it's kind of a Star Trek game, right? That icon looks a lot like Star Trek. And yeah, it was kind of a Star Trek game. where you command the Enterprise D and you fly around a sector in space and you try and like defend outposts from Klingons or Romulans or whatever. It's good. I like it. It's a well-made game and it plays nicely on a 68040. The thing is that the person who made it got a cease and desist to quit making it look like Star Trek, which they did. Of course, they complied with it. So if you go and download this game, it's not gonna look like Star Trek. And kind of the point, as the author says in their release notes, kind of the point of the game is that it looks like Star Trek. It looks like you're commanding, the Enterprise. It's kind of fun that way with the sound effects and stuff. It's cribbed from the show. But the enterprising community has created a patcher that replaces the art, the new art, the compliant art, with the old art in the game, and some modified sprites for updated, for updates, sprites, bug fixes, stuff like that. And so it looks like Star Trek again, and it's kind of great. This is quintessential Mac shareware from back in the day. So right, somebody's like, I'm gonna go make a game based on my favorite show, cause I like it. We can set some options here. Let's say mission setup. Yeah, so the easy one, Cadets game. We'll just show you the Cadets game. Cube ship. Cube ship. But yeah, right, like, so the patch, doesn't change any of the text in the game. So like, instead of Romulans, you have Rulans, right? Instead of Cardassians, you have Cardians. Instead of Ferengis, it's Fengis. So the art has changed, but the text isn't. It's still the compliant version of the game. But if you've never seen it, it's kind of a fun little jaunt. I remember running this on Performa. I think probably my grandmother's Performa, way back when I was a little kid. And it ran like complete dog poop. It just really did not run well. Let's hide others. Betelgeuse 2 is reporting that they're under attack, so let's go. Do I have find nearest outpost? Search for one. Let's just find the nearest outpost. Outpost in Betelgeuse. Let's go. So you can see my little mini map at the bottom. I've got enemy ships following me. But while I'm in warp, they can't shoot me. So I think we're going to end up with a very interesting little fight here as they come in from warp. So we'll turn on our shields. There we go. And fire phasers, we can shoot torpedoes at them. So you can see how this game can be a little difficult. And like, why would you play a game where you have to like click little buttons and stuff? Well, imagine you're a commander on the deck of a starship. You have to give these orders, right? Like, there's going to be a little delay to your orders getting executed. Let's just select the hostile units, please, computer. Thank you. And in the upper left corner, we can see we've got our total energy there, and it is wavering around as I'm using the engines and as I'm firing phasers and torpedoes. Oh, we are out of energy to fire phasers. Oh, that's not good. Got him. I think that's everybody. Yeah, that's everybody in the sector. Doing okay. So what we can do is we can find our nearest starbase. We'll drop our shields so they don't suck up all our energy, and we can go warp to the nearest starbase and get repaired. The Cardassians should have been called the Cardigans. Yeah, exactly. But like, this is, I love this game. This is exactly what like a like 1994 Star Trek game should be, right? Like there's no doom in the world. There's no concept of like real-time fast 3D graphics or anything. It is a top-down, right? It is a top-down, it's real-time simulator of piloting a starship. It's so good. It's so good. Let's see. Can I dock with this? Do I have to dock with it? Is auto dock? I don't remember. Yeah, dock with Starbase. Cool. There we go. Yeah. See, we instantly refilled our energy and our phaser banks. We're ready to go hit some more stuff. So you can imagine, like, you're in the middle of one of those firefights. This is cadet level. You're in the middle of one of those firefights. You've got 3 other outposts under similar amounts of fire on the harder difficulties. This game can get a little frenetic. I think it's fun. We can go more than warp 5 or warp 3. Let's go warp 6. Uses more energy, but gets us there faster. Trina asks, what is this game called again? This is Rescue. This is Rescue. It is only on classic macOS. It was never ported to a later version of macOS. And once this author got the cease and desist from Paramount, he basically ran out of momentum to develop it, unfortunately. So the way it is the way it is. Honestly, I think it's pretty good. It's in pretty good shape. It's extremely playable. This is running on a 20 megahertz 040. 68040. It runs really nicely on this machine. It's not like super smooth. Like if you run it on a faster machine, you don't get smoother graphics. It just goes faster. But it's fine. Let's find nearest. What are we by? We're by a starbase? No. What are we near? Yeah, 10 light years away. That must be. Didn't quite get us there with my manual piloting, but yeah, there's an outpost on a planet. Dave says just don't go to Plaid. Right? Exactly. Let's see how fast we can make this thing go, right? Like, it should be able to go warp 9. Right? It should. Let's go. Engage. And we'll increase our warp factor. 8, 9. Can't go above 9. Yeah, we're burning energy. Our total energy is dropping by like 150 per second. 200 per second? Yeah, we just burn through energy at warp 9. But we do get there fast. We do get there fast. Cass Stark asks, does this game use the same mechanics as the Star Trek bootleg games for other platforms? I don't know. I don't know. As far as I know, this is just designed by one guy from 1993 to 1994. I don't know if he, if he drew inspiration from some of the other Star Trek bootleg games out there, or what. I don't know. I don't know. David Starbucks says Warp 11 is possible on the USS Spinal Tap. Yeah, clearly. Gutbomb says it's way better than EGA Trek. Yeah. I have not played EGA Trek. There and like there are some other let's do Warp 8. I don't want to burn through all of my energy. But there are some find Starbase, there we go. There are some other, fan-created Star Trek games out there for the Mac. Some of them are much more primitive than this, right? Like, some of these were created, in 1985, right? When when developing for the Mac was very new. They're not nearly as polished as this. Like, this has some lifted background music from another show. It's got, samples cribbed from the show. It's got some other sound effects and stuff that he's cribbed from the show, from Star Trek Next Generation. So all in all, like, the production value on this is pretty good for the time period. For a Star Trek game from 1993, it's not bad, especially since it's just it's homemade by one guy. But yeah, that is Rescue. It's one of my all-time favorite games. It took me a long time to find it because it's not like you search for like a Star Trek game, a classic Mac OS, and you find like all the other bootleg games, and they're not great. they're not that great. But yeah, that one is called Rescue. What if I do a search on the garden? Star Trek. How much is that going to give me? It's official stuff. Official stuff. We've got a World Builder game from 1986. If you don't know about World Builder was a game engine where you could create very, very simple games. What else? Was that official? That came in like packaging. No way. That doesn't look official. That's some great bootleg packaging art. That's fantastic. What else? Got a lot of guides and audio clips and multimedia. This was also like the late 80s, early 90s, when TNG was at its height, was also like multimedia computer craze. So there's a lot of like full motion video, like bridge tours and stuff like that out there. What else? Oh, nice! 25th anniversary 25th anniversary Star Trek game. That's not bad. I've got the boxed version of it for DOS on 5 1/4 inch floppies in my storage unit. It's very good. Not voiced, obviously, being on 5 1/4 inch floppies, but it's still novel being on giant floppy disks. I love it. Dave Starbucks says, my favorite Star Trek game was on Commodore 64. It was so awful, it was good. Nice. Yeah, it's Star Trek 25th anniversary. I forget which I played it on. I think I played Star Trek 25th anniversary on Mac back in the day. I don't remember if it was the CD-ROM version or if it was the floppy version. I think it may have been a floppy version. But yeah, that was good stuff. 25th anniversary was great. What else? I'm trying to think of, like, if I just browse games, go to the S's, there's Star Trek games in here on the garden. I have no idea what's going on outside my window, but it's making a lot of noise. SH SI. Aw, SimCity. SimCity 2000 was another one. SimCity and SimCity 2000, I played both of those a ton on Mac back in the day. So original SimCity, I don't know if it did on the PC, but on the Mac, had the option to like print out your city, right? So you could print out your city and you could print it in like poster output. So you'd send the print job to your image writer or whatever. I would print out, one 8.5 by 11 page, and you could attach them together in a poster format. It's hilarious. What on earth is going on out here? Oh. Kids playing with Nerf guns. That's alright. Some highly sophisticated Nerf guns these days. Man, that's a lot of pages of games that start with SP. Come on. They're not even all Spy Kids. Here we go. Star Trek games. Bingo. There's a lot. There's a lot. So what do we got? There's the start of our Star Trek games. So the first one is Starfleet. The War Begins. Definitely not Star Trek. What else? Yep, there's the Star Trek World Builder game. We've got official games. Star Trek Plus, which is the one for the Mac Plus, I believe. Yes. It's sort of what is this? It's TOS, it's original series. You have to wait, no, really? There's a dedicated Tribble menu, so clearly you have to manage your Tribble supply. That's what's going on in that game. Oh man, I should do. I'll do a stream. I'll do a stream on like bootleg Star Trek games for classic macOS, because there's a lot of them. Instead of me staring at a web page and y'all just watching me like do nothing, we'll do a dedicated stream on like awful bootleg Star Trek games for the Mac. Oh. I think it's I think it's the Trek you grew up with, right? Dave Starbucks is the original series of my favorite Star Trek. Because I did, like, when I was a kid, I caught the tail end of, like, the original series movies. But then, like, pretty much as soon as Next Generation started airing, I was there, right, as a kiddo watching it, and it was great. I don't know if it's politics that held up over time. Like, I've gotten a lot more left-leaning than I was back then, but, like, it felt progressive for the time. And the acting was honestly, yeah, the early episodes were a little a little stiff. But I feel like the acting was pretty good. A lot of the episodes, the writing was good. A lot of them, a small amount of them, the writing for the episodes was not great. But I'd say, like, I don't know, 75% of TNG episodes are absolutely terrific. Some of the best television ever made. You have characters in that show that have stood the test of time. Like, obviously, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, right? The classic trio playing off of each other. Fantastic. But you have, like, right, like, the Borg in TNG. You have Q. Like, Q is one of the best characters ever written in sci-fi, ever. He's so good, and John Delancey plays him so well. There were a couple of Qs that showed up over the years, and none of them were as good as John Delancey. He's so good. Ah, good stuff. Just good stuff. There are some great characters in DS9. I'm not saying DS9 doesn't have any good characters in it, but, like, man, DS9 did not give us a Q, that's for sure. Maybe we didn't get, like, one, like, level 100 character in DS9. We got a whole bunch of, like, level 50 characters in DS9 instead of one really, really good character in Q. Like I said, season 1 TNG, things are a little shaky. You know, the writing team is still figuring out how to write the characters. The actors are still figuring out how to act the characters. You know, like, it's the first season of TNG is a little rough. Yes, David Starbucks' Q was in DS9. Yes, Q shows up in the first episode of The Next Generation. Q is the Next Generation character. You know, Q is very important to TNG, and because DS9 and TNG crossed over, you know, during the middle of their runtimes, Q shows up in DS9 as well. Yeah, absolutely. Q shows up in Voyager too, or at least a Q shows up in Voyager. But, like, Q didn't exist until TNG. That's what I mean. Like, David Starbucks' Quark was level 1000. Quark was pretty good. Quark was pretty good. There's some episodes where, you know, Quark carries the show. There are definitely episodes of DS9 where Quark carries the show. I love Quark. I don't want to make a sweeping statement about Voyager yet, because I passed on it when it was new, when it was just coming out. There's a lot about it I don't love. The first Star Trek where we have a woman captain, and what does she get? She gets a command seat with a second seat right next to her. Like, she's not good enough to command a starship. Fuck you, Rick Berman. Fuck you. But, like, I do want to give it an honest shake and give it a watch. We'll see how it goes. I know a lot of people who really like Voyager, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch a whole lot of it. It just, when I figured out that we were doing, you know, that Voyager was more of it was less of a DS9, right? Less of we have a planned arc. It was less of a Babylon 5, less of a Deep Space Nine, where we have a planned arc that this is going to go through, and more of a Lost in Space. We're just going to do some episodic sci-fi. I was kind of like, nah. We got that with TNG, and, like, TNG, I feel like there's 7 seasons of Next Generation, kind of did everything. That's how I felt back when I started watching Voyager. I'm like, what on earth are they going to do that they didn't already do in TNG? If they're just going to do random, episodes of the week, how's the monster of the week going to change? You have 7 seasons that you have to better. And I think that's how, David Starbucks says, I love Neelix. The characters, I think, is how. And again, maybe it's just a case of season 1 being awkward. Maybe it's just, they just need to grow into their roles. But yeah, I want to give Voyager an honest shake again. Like I think it probably deserves it. I know a lot of people who really love it. Yeah, Zinga Bomb says I love Voyager. I'll give it an honest shake at some point. I got to get my partner through TNG though. She's never seen it. We were watching Lower Decks, and Q pops up with no explanation, right? So like Q in his classic like first episode TNG garb, this is Q, and she's like, "Who is that guy?" I'm like, no, that's it. I'm putting you in the chair. You're gonna watch TNG. I actually want to go through a watch guide, honestly, because it's been long enough since I watched TNG. Like, I have very, very rose-colored glasses feelings about Next Generation. I want to go through a watch guide and, like, find the actual good episodes and show them to her instead of making her watch all of them. Yeah, right there she is. Yeah, I may be a little underexposed to Star Trek. Hi, by the way. Love you. That's true. That's true. There was not an episode in TNG where the captain and the first officer turned into salamanders and screwed. That's true. Maybe for good reason. Oh my gosh. We've got Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch in over at Twitch and asked about Rescue. This is the new Oblivion remaster I've heard so much about. Let's do this. We'll give you another exclusive game that never made it off of the Mac, by a tiny little company you may have heard of before called Bungie Interactive. Pathways into Darkness. Guess we'll put this somewhere. Sure. But yeah, there you go, exactly. Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch says, I love how some classic Mac games, a lot of classic Mac games, don't go full screen, they just use the Mac interface. That's kind of the point, right? Like this, here's the first mass market computer that's got a graphical user interface baked in from the time you hit go. Why not use it? Why not use it? And yeah, this is another one of those games that did. This is Pathways into Darkness by Bungie. If we do an about here. There you go, 1993, Bungie software. This is... This is an interesting game. I don't say that lightly. There's a lot going on in this game. If you've never seen anything about this game, and don't think you'll play it, I recommend like watching a playthrough of this, or maybe a retrospective, because there's a lot to this game. There's a lot to this game. This is not a Doom clone. This is like every weird half-baked game idea that Bungie's game devs had in 1993. A lot of these game ideas made it into later Bungie games. Stuff like the multiple endings, which this has several endings. Having a very complicated story, which of course, has made it into it's been a hallmark of a number of Bungie games. But also, like, there's like, there's realism in this game to a fault, where, like, you have to, like, I just picked up a gun, right? So I need to equip the gun, I need to reload the gun, I need to make sure that I have ammo for the gun, and I do that by, like, digging through my inventory in the inventory screen. It's got every weird half-baked game dev idea you could possibly have in 1993. And the reason it looks the way it does is, like, this is 1993. This is a year before Doom. So it looks like Wolfenstein 3D, right? Like, this is Bungie saying, hey, I think we can figure out how to do that. That whole 3D thing where we have, we don't render anything for our ceilings and our floors. We just raycast, our walls. We can make a 3D engine that way. And yeah, they're right. God, I don't even know if I can go through all the crazy stuff that's in this game. I never beat... Oh god, I don't have my gun equipped or anything. No! Don't kill me! There's aliens! We're in a temple. In, like, South America, I think. And, of course, there's aliens in it. Because why wouldn't there be aliens? Oh, man. Alright, how do I equip this gun? Equip it. Oh, thank you. Where's the gun? Did I pick up the gun? I swear I picked up the gun. Canvas sack. I've got a gun in my... See? You double click it, you can't use it. You gotta move it to the top of your inventory, so you take it out of the bag first. Then you can equip... Well, you can't equip it because you don't have any ammo for it. Alright, there's a Walther P4 around here somewhere that I can pick up and shoot these things with. Yep, I'm gonna die. And that's that's most people's first interactions with this game, is they stumble across these weird frog things, they get cornered with no weapons, and they die. I've got a survival knife. Let's see if we can kill these things with a survival knife. What is my attack key? What is my attack? I don't know what my attack key is. Can I set my attack key? No. Yep, nope, died. There you go. It's Pathways into Darkness. Can you understand why it was never ported outside of this environment? You died a horrible, nasty death, and this is only a demo version. Aren't you ashamed? Yes, I am. Thank you. But yeah, Pathways into Darkness, very strange game. There's a lot going on in it. It's very difficult to play. It's one of those games where you've got to save early and save often, or you will die. In fact, I should have saved, basically, upon moving into the center of that room, I should have saved. I should have saved before going around that corner. That's, oh my gosh. So much. The other, Bungie's other games, of course, made it off of the Mac. Marathon 2, Marathon Infinite. But, that was Pathways never made it. I believe Doom was released in '94. There may have been demo or shareware versions of it. There was also a leaked alpha of Doom floating around. I believe Doom was '94. Let me double check. Oh, December '93. So, like, yeah, a month before 1994. All right, what else we got? Yeah, right? Yeah, Charlotte's is being bought by Microsoft was the real pathway into darkness for Bungie. Sure was. That's how most of that happens. I think David Starbucks is the actress that played Janeway, was also in Porky's. She's more interesting there. Yes. I am blanking on her name, but she was also in Orange is the New Black, and she's also phenomenal in Orange is the New Black. Yeah, no, she's pretty much great in every role that she's in. She's worth just, if she's in a movie, just go see it for her. She's really good. Which is what's so mind-boggling about Voyager, because, like, was it Berman? Was it the writing? Like, what was stifling her from being better? I don't know. Discate is here. Hello. Discate says, that is what I like about old Windows 3.1 games, native GUI elements. Yeah, it's, it's like you have this operating system, you may as well use it, right? It is kind of fun, when you get a game that goes full screen and you're immersed in the world, but like that was really, it was a DOS thing, really. Oh, I said, hopped out. I missed you. Go. Have a good one. Aye. If you have not watched DIY's videos, go watch them. They're very good. They're very good. It's an aesthetic, definitely. Aesthetic, classic Mac restorations. Good stuff. So what else do we have? Yeah, the embarrassment of Doom is that I didn't have a copy of Doom. I think I had the shareware version on my 486. So the first version of Doom that I finished, that I played from start to finish to completion, was actually Doom on the 32X, the Sega 32X. Which is kind of embarrassing. But after that, I did play through and beat Doom 2 on the Mac, on a Centris 610, which is good. Doom 2 is great. Especially coming from, my first like big Doom experience being, Doom on the 32X, where monsters don't turn because there's not enough space in the cartridge for all those sprites. So every monster is always looking straight at you at all times. Loading up real Doom 2 for the first time, you're like, oh my god, things turn around. What? The monsters like look in other directions. It's so realistic. I pretty much didn't know what I was missing. No, David Starbucks says I finished Doom and Doom 2 on a 386. I estimate it cost me at least 0.5 on my GPA. So for me, that was college. I made the mistake of taking my Dreamcast with me to college, and I picked up Choo Choo Rocket for that. And Choo Choo Rocket got me kicked out of college. I was completely addicted to Choo Choo Rocket. Also very, very embarrassing. But yeah, that was college attempt one. I mean, there's so many other things that were going on in my life at the time, but like Choo Choo Rocket was not helping. Dating issues and like small fish in a big pond issues and gender issues and the depression issues and also hey, you unmedicated ADHD issues. I had just gone off of my medication at that point and hey, look, there's this shiny game that's real good at giving you hits of dopamine. Oh, bye-bye, GPA. It was a bad time. It was a bad time. What else is on here? There's a bunch of games on here I have not played that are also like Mac exclusives. I mean, this game I've played. I don't think this is exclusive anymore. I think there's iOS ports of this now. But Tesserae is a classic. That is super blown out. What did I do to the filters on this thing? Man, oh man. Nothing. I did nothing to the filters. Why is that so blown out? Holy cow. Huh. I thought I was running like a color filter on that. Apparently not. Dang. Properties. We're running this in the wrong mode. Maybe that's what it is. New color range. Full color range. That's better. Not quite there, though. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It is my little capture card over here. Oh, that's auto adjust. That's not what I want. Give me the menu. Give me the menu. Thank you. It's because I have my... it's not the brightness, it's the contrast. That's right. It's the... The contrast is too high. Maybe? Man, those tiles should not be that blown out, that is for sure. Amber screws around with her capture device for 15 minutes. Hooray! Come on, give me an orange tile again. Let me see an orange tile. I feel like those shouldn't... Oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet this is in the wrong display mode, that's why. It's not any of this. Completely messed all of this up for no reason. That's the story of my life! Messed it all up for no reason. Ta-da! Let me reset this thing into 16-bit color mode. Get. There we go. Yeah, that's what it is. Color and gamma's all messed up from playing Pathways into Darkness. Monitors. Thousands. Give me that 16-bit color. That's better. Yeah, there's some definition to those tiles now. Fantastic. This is a game from the Performa era, where you started to get, the Mac really started to really, penetrate into the home market, and you got casual users playing their first games. Tesserae was a good example of a first game. Copyright MCMXZ, what is that? 1990. MCMXC. Is that 1990? Is it 1990? I don't remember. I don't know my Roman dates very well. Anyway, this game is pretty okay. It looks like the same game, right? Like if you played the same game, this looks like the same game. It's not. It is it's sort of a tile matching game. You have to, well, like the title screen was demonstrating, you have to flip your tiles over each other to clear them. And like you can flip any tile basically over any other tile, except if you do, like if I do this blue to yellow, I get a complex tile, I get a green, and actually that has completely screwed me because I cannot get that tile out of there unless I have another green tile either here or here. So like I can do this and make a green. And then once I clear this space out of here by making another green, now I can move this tile and I can get rid of one of them. So, bad move, don't do that. But yeah, what you want to do is like pull, get rid of a different color over the top of another. So like, or you can go into a blank space. Now I've got all these yellows in one corner, I can just basically get rid of these things. Especially if we get these blues out of here, now it's completely uninterrupted. And just get rid of yellows. Pull that over, oh, not there. Pull this one over here. Concatenate our yellows. And we can basically just eliminate tiles. That's this game. I played a lot of this when I was a kid. A lot of this game. It's fun. It does not... I don't think it guarantees you a solvable mosaic. Maybe it does. There's plenty of opportunity for you to screw that up, that solvability. So I don't know actually if it when it generates the mosaic, if you're guaranteed to have a solvable mosaic. But it's kind of a good little brain scratcher. I played a ton of this. God. You can turn off the silly animations, or make them faster if they're slow and annoying. It's clear that they're very proud of their animations. It's why they run so slow. But you can also just turn them off if you're just like, I am a serious Tesserae player. I do not need animations. I just need to destroy this game. I am not a serious Tesserae player. The game will destroy me, more likely than not. There it is. End of my game. That is Tesserae. But yeah, it's super simple. I like it. It's a nice, clean design, and the gameplay is pretty good. It's a fun time. Anyway, I don't think this has made it outside the Apple ecosphere. I don't know if there's a Windows version of this game ever made. I know I'm pretty sure you can get it on iOS these days. I think there's an iPad version. If there isn't an iPad version, there should be, because it would be a perfect iPad game. But yeah, Tesserae. So copyright was that 1990? 1991. Yeah, there you go. It's been around for a while. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Cass says MCMXC is 1990. Dave Starbucks says, by the way, folks, like that smash button. Starbuck, oh my gosh. John is out of here. Have a good one, John. It's good to see you. Oh no. Somebody got in a car accident. Oh no. Looking forward to playing these games later. Hey, yeah, there you go. When things are a little less stressful, hopefully. I think Ron distributed a hard drive. That's what this is. Of networkable games that you can play over Apple Talk. For the purposes of doing some Global Talk gaming during March. I don't know if that ever ended up happening, but like, apparently this game, Minotaur, is like a terrific multiplayer math game. I have never played it. I don't know anything about it. I like the opening art in the README here. This is good. Oh, it's a Bungie game. There you go. So this is before Pathways into Darkness. That's awesome. Okay, what is this? Preface. What are you? Welcome to Labyrinths of Crete, where the blades are sharp and the average lifespan of a combatant is less than 10 minutes. Oh, interesting. Alright. 2 or more players and different computers are thrown into a huge randomly generated maze, and through the use of various magical and mundane items, attempt to find and kill each other. Nice. Classic. What else do you really need in a computer game? Yeah, no, I'd never heard of this either. Gutbombs had never heard of this one. Yeah, starting AppleTalk network game. Apparently, this is like, I had heard from somebody that this is the game you got to play. If you this and Bolo are like the classic Mac AppleTalk games. Bolo and Minotaur. Interesting. That AppleTalk interface, I think, made its way through into Marathon. I'm pretty sure it just got bigger, and you could put more people in in a Marathon game. That looks real familiar. Interesting. I imagine. Does it say? Games with a large number of players on a busy network may be unacceptably slow. Attempt to isolate the machines playing Minotaur from the rest of the network. Usually the latter is impossible or disastrous to the rest of the network, because of course you're playing this at work. Yeah, isolate the machines playing Minotaur. That's all of the work machines. Use the fastest computers you can lay your hands on. Oh, nice. Nice. I gotta try this. It sounds hilarious. Playing Minotaur. That's the thought. Yeah, Dave Starbucks says, I wonder if this would work over Global Talk. I think that was the idea. I think with the caveat that we all have to be on a connected zone, maybe? But I think the idea was that we could all get together on Global Talk and play this. That is some... That's 1992, alright. Did color come to the Macintosh in 1990 or was it 1989? The Mac 2 brought color to the Macintosh. I forget if it was 89 or 90. '89. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I've never seen a Mac 2 in real life. Oh, '87. Oh, that makes sense, because it was along with the SE, right? The Mac 2 and the Mac SE launched at the same time. I think. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Gutbomb's like, yeah. I trust Gutbomb. Gutbomb makes videos about crummy Macs, so he knows what he's talking about. Also, if you haven't seen any of Gutbomb's videos, go watch them, they're good. Yeah, there you go, see? This looks... Wow, this is... Wait, is this like... Item spells armor. Cursor up, description, use cast. This is just like... This is MOBA controls. Right? Just inverted. You know, your cast is on ZXCV instead of 1234. But like... You change your item with R and F. Look at the description with the number keys. Like, you just flip that around, you've got MOBA controls. That's wild. 1992. I wonder what this is like to play. Wow. Ah, interesting. There's text communication, except instead of using T to talk, it's Y to yell. Oh, wow. Players may yell even when paralyzed, sleeping, or dead, hurling insults at their opponents, presumably. If all players who are still alive in the maze yell the word quit, the game will end without attributing wins or losses. Wow. So if you're just like, we need to GTFO, everybody just yells quit at the same time. That's wild. Pause is the same way every have to yell pause. Yeah, maybe. Gutbomb says I've seen Y used to initiate chat in other games. I wonder if it was yelling all along. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Let's see, we've got spell descriptions, armor descriptions, weapon descriptions. There's a lot of stuff in this game. Object descriptions. Now we've got like onks, amulets of strength, arrows. Damn. Alright. Single player exploration. Oh, there you go. Yeah, basically single player is practice mode. Your computer-generated opponent performs a function similar to that of a punching bag. You'll not be able to score a win in exploration mode. But you can chalk up a loss if you try hard enough. That's a mood. Oh, that's a mood. This is interesting. This is interesting. Huh. Cool. We've got copies of the game, because I think, yeah, you have to have a unique copy. So, like, if people want to play it, it's up to 7 players. Everybody's got to have a different copy of the game. A different copy of the game. I don't know what goes into that. I don't know if this is like, when you get Minotaur, you have these 7 versions of it, or what. I don't know. That's one to definitely try. That's definitely one to try. Let's see. Marathon, of course. Wagon Train, 1848. Is this multiplayer Oregon Trail? Uh-oh, negative 199. It doesn't like my 040. That needs System 6 and a plus, I think. Warcraft 2. I don't... Oh, that's the... We'll just quietly close that. Don't look at that, Blizzard. Don't look at that. It's fine. But yeah, I'm sure everybody here has seen Spectre. Yeah? If you haven't seen Spectre, Spectre's a very old game. Oh, of course I have to change my monitor resolution manually. Doesn't do it for me. God, what does Spectre come out on first? I want to say there's a black and white version you could play on maybe not the original Mac, but at least the Plus, I think. But yeah, Spectre, it's like Battlezone, but it's not. It's legally distinct Battlezone. But yeah, there's a network version where you can do AppleTalk. Let's do ammo 3. I'll take the balanced one. That should be fine. This should use... Yes, it does. It uses the numpad for movement. Because this keyboard, it is the Apple standard keyboard. Everybody had one of these on their computer. On their Mac. No? The opponents are very annoying if you get up close to them. They will just shoot you and shoot you and shoot you. Okay. No, no. Can repair if I run over the green squares. Oh boy. No. Trying to avoid being shot. I've got one on my tail. Get away. I need a repair patch. Give me a repair patch. Oh man. No. Stuck on a wall. So your best bet in Spectre, honestly, is to just go for your enemies, the red dots on the minimap, and just kill them. Just go for it. Because it's really... Once they latch onto you, it's really difficult to shake them. Just blast all the enemies in the level and then go for the flags. So this is another game that... oh, it's not 5 to go backwards. That's why I was not going backwards, and I thought I was going backwards. It is 2 to go backwards. This is another game that's... It's pretty fun to play in multiplayer, but there's not a lot of depth to it. It's really just you and your friends flying around in your Spectre tanks, blowing each other up. Like, that's basically it. Probably the biggest differentiator about this game during the time period is that it runs really fast. It's very smooth. Even on low-end machines, it's nice and fast. Like, you can play this on an 020, an 030, it's plenty fast. I should see if I can track down the earliest version, see if it'll run in... It should run in black and white. Let's see if I can play it on my Plus. See how bad it is. The Plus has really slow video. The SE is a little better at video than the Plus. But I betcha, the Plus is a really popular machine. So there's a lot of games that work with the Plus. I've seen... Oh yeah, I've seen why used for talking. What if it's yelling the whole time? Dave Starbucks says maybe it was yodeling. Yep, we're just gonna hunt you down and kill you. That's all enemies clear. So you can see we've taken damage. If I run over some of these green spots, I should be able to repair that. 1 point of damage per pickup, which is great. I think the biggest problem with Spectre is that this game existed for years and years and years. They never really refined it, you know? Like, the later versions of Spectre have like you can play QuickTime videos on the walls, which is kind of a novel feature, but like, who cares? But like, they never updated any of the models, they never updated any of the effects. There was never a Quick Draw 3D version of Spectre that was like, had like lighting effects or anything with hardware acceleration. They just never really did anything with it, unfortunately. It's such a smooth and satisfying game to play, because it runs so nicely. I've got one on my tail. Whew. There we go. But yeah, that's Spectre. Spectre's fantastic. Worth a play. You'll probably burn out of it pretty quickly. There's not a lot to it. But I think it'll run... Good lord, I think there's a version of it for DOS that'll run on like an 8086. I'm pretty sure. Like, that's how old this game is. Spectre DOS. minimum requirements. Moby Game says it needs a 286. .286 with 640K RAM. Yeah, I mean that's pretty low end. That's pretty low end. That would equate to needing a Mac to play it on Mac with 68020. Diskette says the wavering effect is nice. Yeah. An 8-player setup of TMAC. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. I went to, when I was quite a bit younger, the fam got together and did a big trip to Las Vegas. This was, oh lordy, years and years ago at this point. But there's a GameWorks on the Strip, and one of the things they had set up there was, I believe, 8-way Daytona USA. And it was one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever seen. Just like all these arcade cabinets all linked together. It was really cool. Very fun. It was like, I think they wanted like $2.50 a play on that one. It was like, maybe I'll pass. But it was super cool to see the attract mode. Because of course, the Daytona USA network, network link attract mode can link up all the displays together as one camera angle, right? So you get like, there's the car and the center machine, and then it's like the world's largest ultra-wide display. Is very cool to see. It's very flashy. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The big Y screen. Daytona, let's go away. So this machine is on the internet. I know everybody's like, oh, don't put your retro computers on the internet. That's so dangerous. Like, it's not. It's not. Nobody cares. Nobody's writing viruses for classic macOS anymore. So that leads, like, what can you do with this? Not a ton, but like, obviously FrogFind works fine on here. But also, the Garden is accessible. Although the Garden's HTML has changed in recent years. MacintoshGarden.org. This has always been a problem. They're like JavaScript with their Drupal. But like, I don't know what they did, but you can't search anymore, which is really annoying. So you put something in here for search, and you hit enter, and it just doesn't do anything. It just goes right back to the home page, which is frustrating. But yeah, there's I think you can still browse. Like if we go through, let's do Defunct 2 and Defunct. Flight simulation. What is in Mac flight simulation games? Oh yeah. A-OK, Wings of Mercury. Celeste, Chaos VR, Exobattle, Fly 2K, Flighty, Skyfighters 1918, with the Mission Builder, from 2008, that won't run on here. Warbirds Interactive 96, there was Chuck Yeager's, right? That was the big flight sim for classic Macs, wasn't it? Oh, see, I'm going to do this, the search. Is it A-R or E-R? I don't remember how to spell Chuck Yeager's name. It's E-R. Okay. And that will, yeah, so it goes search node and then doesn't do a search. I think you can, oh wait, hang on. Oh, it worked this time. Yeah, because you can fudge this if you do /search/node and then you put in like a URL formatted string, you can get a search out of the garden. And that's usually how I search on here. So like if we do, let's do Doom. This should give us good old Doom, Ultimate Doom, Doom 2. Yeah, there we go. Doom 2, Doom Legacy for OS X. Ultimate Doom, yeah. Cool, Final Doom. Yes, right? Gutbomb says, I love the garden. The search there's awful. It really is. It really is. And yet, I wouldn't have it any other way. The garden is very good. It's a very important archive of a lot of old software for classic Macs. But I know, like, it's stuck in my craw for a while that, like, there was a line in a Cathode Ray Dude video a while ago now, probably 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, where he's like, you know, it makes no sense to do classic Mac stuff because nobody cares. It's all productivity software. There's no games on classic Mac. Games are the only reason to collect or emulate older systems. Because the productivity software is, who cares? Nobody's going to use productivity software from 30 years ago. Hot take, man, hot take. But I think it's kind of fun. In some cases, I really do enjoy using productivity software from 30 years ago because it doesn't nag me. It just, especially if I've got, something like this that's in good shape and running well, or like when I get my Quadras 700s back up and running, like they're very fast. The video on them is fast. The 25 megahertz 040 is plenty fast for like early versions of Photoshop and Illustrator. It's a good experience. It's enjoyable. Creating is fun in an environment like that. I don't know. I kind of dig old productivity software. I think it's kind of interesting. One of the things I have wanted to do. Yeah, right. There you go. Gutbomb says I'm building a website using NetObjects Fusion on a Power Mac 6100. Like, yeah, it's great. Some of this old software is just it, and the other thing is like it's quirky, and it's the quirks are endearing, right? Like they're fun to experience. Some of them aren't fun to experience. Some of the quirks are really annoying, but like a lot of the times it's like, oh, right, that's how we did that 30 years ago. Pulu Sound says there's so much nice music software for classic Mac. Yeah, that's one of the things I like. This Wacom digitizer that's coming in. Like I want to explore it and do like at least a stream, maybe a stream or two with it. Maybe even, God forbid, make a video on it. It'd be nice, right? If I make a video again. But like music software is another thing that I want to explore. Like picking up some old Pro Tools cards, some old Digidesign cards, and sticking them in like one of my Quadras, and just have some fun with some of the old music software on Mac OS. Passport Tracks on a Mac Plus, nice. I'm gonna have to try that. Passport Tracks. Oh yeah, Discats is some pretty important early 3D software. Yeah. Nice. Pulu Sound says, I'm in the process of trying to write a music live coding system for System 7. That's awesome. Heck yeah. It's actually not bad. Dave Starbucks says, I have a new version of Myst in my Steam collection. I need to play it someday. So I love the classic version of Myst, right? The version that's like literally running in HyperCard. Like it's such a clever hack. It's such a clever, I respect the hustle. It's such a good hack. And also, simultaneously, I have the VR version of Myst where it's all it's all real time and it's all in VR. Like you literally put on a VR headset and you can go around the island in Myst, and it's all there. All the puzzles are preserved. All the video is preserved. It's really well done, and I really love that too. I like both. Porque no los dos. I like the HyperCard version and I like the VR version. They're both awesome in their respective, their same respective rights. Especially since the VR version will also run, I believe, standalone on a Quest, which is extremely impressive, given how Myst is known for having gorgeous graphics. The fact that it'll run standalone on a Quest is pretty cool. Dave Starbucks' VR would make me barf. It's not bad, honestly. It's not bad. It's got some pretty good anti-barf technology. I guess it's not bad. Oh yeah, oh of course. This guy says, well, I meant that Myst was rendered on Quadros with Stratavision. Yeah. Was that macOS exclusive? I guess it... Because I'm thinking of because Maya was on SGI. I think, yeah. I don't know. 3D modeling stuff was way over my head back then. I'm just with the VR stuff that I'm doing now, I'm just starting to dip my toes into 3D modeling using Blender. They have no idea about early 3D modeling software. Lightwave. Oh, Lightwave came from the Amiga. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's understandable. So, yeah, Dave Starbucks says, I can't do 3D movies, and even playing fast-paced games on my ultra-wide causes nausea. So here's the thing about VR, Dave. A good VR game, nothing happens unless you make it happen. Unlike a 3D movie, where everything is moving around you and it's all out of your control, a good VR game, you are grounded in that virtual environment, and the only time anything happens is when you look around, right? Or you move side to side, and it moves completely in sync with you. So the nausea thing is a lot less in VR than you might think. Now things get weird when you start using a stick to move you around the world, because then your body gets out of sync with what's going on in your eyes. And that's how you get the nausea. But just being there in Myst or in I was playing Abduction as well, the Cyan's other big VR game. Phenomenal. Just the sense of presence of you actually being in that world. So good. So good. If it ever goes on sale, I'd say, I don't know if you have a VR headset, but if it ever goes on sale, give it a try. It's actually... Myst translates really well into VR. It kind of makes sense, right? It's literally an exploration game where you're just, cruising around a foreign alien landscape. It translates fantastically well to VR. Aw, I'm sorry, Dave. That is unfortunate. Pulu Sound says, I heard the full motion video characters didn't translate so well to the real-time 3D remakes. They're a little weird. They show up, they've sort of cut them out of their video, and they sort of show up as sort of holograms. Obviously, it's 2D video, right? What are you going to do in an actual 3D space where you can see depth? They do the best that they can. I'm just thankful that they didn't try and wrap it around a mesh or something to make them look 3D. They do at least just admit that it's 2D video, and they just play the 2D video. It works out okay. hello, Trina. Did Stinkerton get us confused again? Is that what the sister from another mother? Oh, yep, I missed the start of my VR event. Speaking of VR, I hop in VR every weekend. Missed the start of my VR event. Oh, jeez. Oh, what? Oh, ouch. Dave, that sounds awful. I'm so sorry. Oh. Oh my god. Discat should have given the guys GoldenEye face maps. No. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Trina's talking about the one of the several memes that went around Blue Sky recently was the fictional character that turns out to be surprisingly similar to you. Um, you all know, Rom and Nog from DS9 helped out around Quark's bar. Related to Quark in some way, I don't remember exactly how. I think Rom was Quark's brother. Um, but like, Rom was kind of a written off character. Like he's just kind of a throwaway for the first season or two of DS9. And then they decided to, I think as a joke, like have Rom find Karl Marx Das Kapital and turn into a socialist. I don't know if you guys remember this episode, but like Rom is quoting Marx on the episode, and like he ends up like, fighting for Ferengi rights against against their government. He kind of turns into a pretty awesome guy. I was like, hey, pour one out for Rom. Rom is great. I don't know if it ends up being canon, but at least I know in Star Trek Lower Decks, Rom ends up being Grand Nagus of the Ferengis. So he apparently did something right at some point. Yeah, honestly, right? Like the Ferengis were like this awful like bugbear race for a long time, right? Like it's a Ferengi battlecruiser or whatever. Like, oh no, it's Ferengi bird of prey. Um, these super cruel aliens with nasty teeth, and it's like they just started to kind of like dig into Ferengi culture, and it's just like they just took all the most ridiculous things that human capitalism does, and they just shoved them onto the Ferengis, and it's just, it's fantastic. It's so good. They're all very funny. All right. Well, I don't know. I think 5:30. We've been going for what, 2.5 hours? It's not bad. And we're just chatting, playing some old games. I think I will do. See if I can dig up all of the amazing, amazing Star Trek bootleg games for classic macOS, and we'll run through them on a stream at some point. I think it'd be funny. It would be funny. Oh, one thing I do want to talk about just real quickly before we go is like, how do you, how do you, integrate an old Mac like this into the modern day? Like, obviously, this one's, it's got Ethernet built in. The Quadras and the Centruses all got Ethernet. Power Macs all have Ethernet. There are Ethernet adapters for a lot of the lower end Macs throughout the years, and then of course we've got BlueSCSI V2, where you can get emulates a Dynaport SCSI adapter, SCSI Ethernet adapter over Wi-Fi. But once you've got it on a network, what the heck do you do with it, right? Like, I showed you can get on Netscape, good old Netscape 2.0. This doesn't have a ton of RAM in it either. 24 megs? Yeah, I've got 24 megs of RAM. I forgot to close Pathways into Darkness. That is still open, taking up RAM. So close that down. What does Netscape want in terms of memory? Not much at all. It's only set to use 4 megabytes. Can you imagine a web browser today using 4 megabytes of RAM? Unbelievable. But yeah, like Netscape 2 runs on classic Macs. I think 4 will run on newer versions of macOS, like System 7.5 and newer. I like to use 2.0 because, like, honestly, what are you going to be browsing with these things? These browsers are so old. Yes, John says macOS 10.4 Tiger can file share. And you can get those on some early Intel Macs. I believe you can get 10.4, 10.5 running. One of the things that I found, you can also, like, if you really dig at it, you can get NetAtalk on Linux to work with classic Mac file sharing. So you go, if you've got a new enough version of macOS, or you do enough digging into NetAtalk, you can get AppleShare working onto these older Macs through, from a Linux box, which works really nicely once you have it running, but it's a royal pain in the butt to set up. You can see I've still got all of my Global Talk stuff set up here. I have an Intel Mac Mini in the corner here that's running Windows 8, Windows 8, and emulating a Quadra 800, I think, 850, 800, I think. And just, it's being my AppleTalk internet router for the Global Talk stuff. So this I plug this into Ethernet, it automatically gets all the Global Talk zones. So that's the way to, like, communicate with existing old Macs that are out there. But, like, new stuff, like if I need to get a file from the garden on this computer, this modern Windows 10 machine, and I need to get it onto this computer running System 7.1, I found FTP, honestly, is the easiest way to do it. Grab an old FTP client. This is running Fetch. This is hilarious, by the way. Fetch has shortcuts for, these very well-known and public Mac FTP archives that are not going anywhere. Oops. The NCSA archives, the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. I don't think that exists anymore. Is University of Illinois still running that? I don't think they are. I know Apple's FTP archives are not up anymore, right? I don't think you can get anything there. But I end up just using it to my to that emulated, to that Mac Mini over there that's running the emulated router. If I can spell retro, definitely not the password of retro. But this lets me basically the FTP server on that machine is pointed to the same thing, the same folder that I'm sharing out on a Windows SMB share. So I can just drop a file in there, it shows up here in Fetch, and I can just pull it down onto this machine. Easy as you please. And just say, get file. And we'll stick it on the desktop. There it is. Ta-da! Easy. Easy, easy. And that downloaded in text mode, not binary mode. Well done, Fetch. Let's try that again. Diskette says just send it all over IRDA. Yeah, exactly. And that should be, if I drop this onto JPEG view, we should be able to see it. Boo! Okay, never mind. I'll figure that out. I might have to open that up in Photoshop. I don't know. But yeah, this is what I've been using to get files back and forth from my vintage Mac over to the modern world of everything. Just to use a local FTP server. It's been working all right. John says I still have an original Dynaport SCSI Ethernet adapter. That's awesome. Yeah, if that thing works, that would be super cool. That'd be super cool. Okay, yeah. Eaton says I've had a tough time getting modern version of FileZilla to work with old FTP clients. They are, yes, modern FileZilla needs a couple of things turned off to get it to work, because I'm pretty sure I'm using FileZilla on there. Let me connect to it real quick, because I'm pretty sure that's what I'm doing. Do. Come on. Do. Where is my FTP server? Dun, dun, dun. Yep, there's FileZilla. So I'm running. Oh, it wants me to auto-update. Nah, it's fine. No worries. Don't need to auto-update it. You have no idea what I'm serving files to. It does not need to have a newer version of FileZilla. So I'm using FileZilla 1.10.1. In order to get it to work, let's see, FTP configuration. Where is that? Don't want the wizard. Give me configuration. There we go. Yeah, so the the default in FileZilla is to do FTP over TLS, which is SFTP. You have to change that on any of the address that it's bound to, any of its listening addresses, to be explicit FTP over TLS and insecure plain FTP, because old FTP clients will not do SFTP, or FTPS, I guess it's called. They won't do it. Even if they do it, like all of your signing certificates are going to be completely out of date. It just won't work. So that's like the big thing you need to change, because FileZilla, modern FileZilla, it's like super duper wants you to use FTP over TLS. Just, don't let it. Don't let it. Alrighty. Not bad. The virtual Quadra 800 has been running for, oh boy, statistics reset 1st of April. Nice. It's been running for a month straight. Who said classic macOS is unstable? It has routed 48,000 AppleTalk packets without crashing. That's awesome. There you go. All right, golden FTP. Yeah, like these are not, you don't want to use these FTP servers like out on the open internet, but like for setting up FTP on your local network for file share, it works well. It works very well. Pulu Sound says they run Rumpus FTP. Nice. Nice. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, John says it's an SFTP, FTP tunneled over SSH, and FTPS is FTP over TLS. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, you know it. It's what are you tunneling the FTP protocol over? Is it over SSL, or is it over, or TLS, or is it over, SSH? Okay, let's close this down. I think we're good for today's stream. This is fun. We should do this again. Next week, what am I looking at next week? I do want to make a video. I'm sure maybe everybody here hasn't. I don't know how terminally online y'all are, but like Frickin' PewDiePie did a Linux video. I mean, hooray! Like a bunch of people are gonna see like a giant YouTuber say install Linux, but like, can it be anyone but PewDiePie, please? But I do want to do a video on like installing Linux. Just put Linux on your computer, right? Like Windows sucks and it's getting suckier. Just put Linux on it. Just put Linux on it, right? Like there's so many people who have trepidations about it. Like just put Linux on it. Just put Linux on your computer. Especially like given I have been testing a couple of versions of Linux for the last several weeks and months, depending on the version. It's been really good. This has been the best experience I've had doing Linux on the desktop in many years, and I've been running Linux on the desktop since that first trip to college that was unsuccessful, putting Debian on my Pentium Pro 200. John says, is he as big as me? He's quite a bit larger. There you go, John. All networks can use a nice little NetBSD machine. Like, I don't know. I've been trying to get people to switch to Linux for a while, but like, I just kind of want to do a short and sweet, like, use Linux, try this distribution, or if it doesn't work, this one. Here's how you solve, like, the top 3, like, biggest questions I get from people. Like, how do I play my games? How do I use Discord? And how do I don't know what the third one would be, but, like, here's how. I solved it, fixed it. Just do it. Just install Linux. Just install Linux on your computer already. Like, I had a friend of mine just today was like, I want to get a new laptop. And I'm like, to put Linux on it. And she's like, well, I might dual boot it for my games. I'm like, you don't need to. I know you don't play games online that like require, rootkit level anti-cheat. So like, just play your games on Linux. They'll work great. They'll work great. That's one of the things I want to do is just like here's how you do it. This is it. That's all you have to do. Like that's how easy it is. It's a couple of steps, right? Like it's not automatic. You don't just install the KDE Neon on your machine and everything's hunky dory. You got to do a couple of things. You got to get you got to download Steam. You got to enable Steam's beta Proton branch. But like that's basically it. And then everything works. It's really good. And your games will run faster too, which is wild. But yeah, that's I want to do a video on that at some point. What else was I thinking? Oh yeah, you remember when I did the survey on my social media a while back? I was looking at. Let me switch over to my over to my ACam so y'all can see me. But I did a survey asking like what people wanted to see me do with a Ryzen 5600G that I had recently gotten a hold of. I got the motherboard for that. It arrived, you might recognize it. It's the BioStar A320MH. Remember this? I had one of these, I don't know when I did a video on this, maybe 2 years ago now. The one I had, when this is the second BioStar A320MH I've owned. The first one I owned, someone had managed to bend a pin in the PCI Express slot. And try as I might, I could not unbend it. Like, I even got, like, I sacrificed a soldering iron tip to, like, get the plastic out of there and, like, bend this pin back into place. It would not stay unbent. I don't know how this person bent that pin, but it basically meant if you plugged a graphics card into that board, kaputski, it would not work. So it was APUs only. And then I think my biggest gripe with the board at the time was that BioStar had not released any updated BIOSes for it, for like anything past I think the original slew of Vermeer processors, like 5600X, 5700X, 5800X. That was basically it. Like, that's all you could run on it. No X3D processors, no 16-core processors, no some of the later APUs that came out, like the 4000 series APUs that came out after the 5000 series Vermeer units did. They've fixed that since then. They finally released an updated BIOS. This has full AM4 CPU support. So I am going to use this to screw around with this 5600G, as you can see there. And I think that's gonna be fun. I think the top winning option in that poll was to install the RADV tools in Linux and try ray tracing on this Vega 8 or Vega 7. I forget what this one has. Not enough Vegas integrated graphics. It should be fun. Fun like a spoon in the eye. Ironically, in order to do that, I need to print out another test bench of mine. So I think I'll probably end up doing that tonight while I sleep. Just have my little SV07 over here, print out a test bench. And then I'll get the test bench there, and I can pull a power supply over from the storage unit, and then I'll have test bench stuff here in the office, in the lab. So then I can start doing more things. So like finishing the Voodoo 5 video. I'm so sorry. I really do mean to finish it. I swear. But yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of, like, just install Linux on your computer. I picked up this recently on eBay. This is like $80, I think the seller wanted for it. This is a Dell Latitude XT3. It's a 2-in-1. It looks like a Latitude. It's a Dell laptop, but it's a 2-in-1, and it's got a pretty okay stylus with it. It uses N-Trig, like the Surface, the Microsoft Surface. It's pretty okay, actually, as far as like drawing quality. This has Linux on it. I bought it from the seller with Windows 11 shoehorned onto it. This is like, I think this is Sandy Bridge. It's an i5 2520. So it's like 2-core Sandy Bridge, mobile Sandy Bridge. And, they did the thing with Windows 11 where you bypass the CPU check and you just install it on anything. But, like, it seriously took, like, 30 seconds to boot Windows 11 on this poor machine. So I wiped the drive off. Actually, I think I yeeted the drive. I just put one of my, I've got a couple of 1 terabyte Samsung drives, but just threw that in there, SATA SSD. I tried to put Neon on it. Neon's installer at the time, I think, was having some indigestion. So I put Kubuntu on it. So, KDE 5 running on Ubuntu instead of KDE 6 running on Wayland on Ubuntu. It's been fine. Seriously, like, it's a tablet PC, right? The tablet stuff works fine. I didn't even have to install a driver. It just works. It doesn't have the most number of sensitivity, pressure sensitivity levels, but, like, it's enough for sketching, and that's really what I wanted it for. So, Eaton says, hopefully no Realtek Wi-Fi on that laptop. I don't think so. The Wi-Fi works fine. And the Wi-Fi on it worked during the installer, in fact. Diskettes is flippy foldy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's a couple of things I've had to solve is, weirdly, the login screen on Ubuntu it's got an Android style on-screen keyboard. Works great. It's actually really nice. You can't touch it once you're logged in. There's no way to get to it. I don't know why. It seems like a weird oversight. So I installed a different on-screen keyboard, which works fine. It actually doesn't take up the whole screen the way the Android style one on the login screen does. It sits in the corner. It's large enough to, like, poke with your finger. If I've got it in tablet mode, like, that's all I really want a keyboard for anyway. So that actually works pretty nicely. What else did I have to fix? there weren't really fixes. That was a fix. Like getting an on-screen keyboard working, that was a fix. And then it was just like remapping buttons. The face buttons on the monitor, like there's, right, like you've got the power button here, but then you've got these other buttons. I think this is like, yeah, this is like lock screen and rotate, and that one's a wrench. I don't know what that one does. But, you know, these like silly, you know, Dell integrated buttons, you just remap them in KDE, and I did. So, like, this is mapped to undo. This one is mapped to, what did I map that one to? It's another drawing command, I think, in Krita. But yeah, I just remap the buttons. It worked fine. You just go into the key remapper in KDE, and you could just remap those buttons. It doesn't care. It's pretty great. What else? That's really it. Yeah, it came with the seller who sold it put 12 gigs of RAM in it, so it's like got one 8 gig and one 4 gig stick, which is more RAM than it needs, honestly, running KDE. 12 is fine. I don't think I've ever seen it use more than 4, so. Right? Right? Eaton says, it's wild that Sandy Bridge is over 14 years old now, and it still kicks butt, you know? Like, if you don't feed it too much software, right? Like, Sandy Bridge is still perfectly usable. I run Discord on that laptop, right? Like, I have Firefox on it, I just open up Discord in a tab, and Discord runs fine. Like, weirdly fine, considering how heavyweight Discord is. It's kind of wild. Yeah, it's... Put Linux on your computers is the moral of the story. Like, just do it. Just download a Linux ISO and boot off of it and just play around with it for a while. Right? Like, it'll ask you to install, just say no and just play around with the OS for a bit. See what it does. I bet it'll be nice. Yeah, but like on my home theater PC, the little thin client in my living room, that was the one where I was like, oh yeah, I need to get Steam on this. And then I'm like, why can't I run most games on this thing? And then I found the option in Steam where you can turn on like the beta versions of Proton. And once I did that, yeah, I've had no problems running stuff on there that really has no business running on that hardware. Satisfactory, Astroneer, like they really shouldn't be running on that thin client. I know in my video I did Skyrim on it, and it didn't run great. Mostly that was because I was running it at like ultra settings. If you set it to like medium, it runs just fine. It's like 40 FPS at medium. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Dave Starbucks says my stink pad is a Sandy Bridge. Of course, running LMDE. Yeah. Yeah, and exactly. Sandy Bridge is fast enough. Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. But like you're saying, like Sandy Bridge and Bulldozer, like the thin client in the other room is embedded Carrizo. Like, yeah, I've got plenty of instruction sets on there, and anything I want to run on it will run on it. It's just not super fast. But like the Sandy Bridge is great. I think so. John says, I think my 2011 MacBook Pro is a Sandy Bridge. I think it is. My mid-2012 was Ivy Bridge, so I think the 2011s are Sandy Bridge. I think that's how that is. I think that's how that works. Pulu sounds, my main machine is Westmere. Yeah, wow, that's a blast from the past. I mean, again, like, if you've got enough Westmere cores, like, it's fine. Like, you won't notice it. You know? I'll be honest, like, my primary machine here that I'm streaming from y'all from is, you know, it's that cheap PC that I entered in last year's challenge. It's a $60 Dell Optiplex. I've upgraded it to an i7 7700, but like, that's it. It's Kaby Lake. It's fine. It does everything I need it to do. Like, I run DaVinci Resolve on it. Even if I like occasionally need to check something in like VR if I'm doing some avatar development. Like this is this is bound to this machine on Quest Airlink, so like I just run VR on it too. It's not my big giant VR machine, but like for everyday use, it's fine. It's plenty fast. It's kind of wild. You don't need that much PC, it turns out. Yeah. PGA processors are good. I'm gonna miss them too. I've got a couple of AM4 machines. At some point, I'll upgrade to AM5. Maybe it'll end up being AM6. I don't know, but I will miss PGA. Although I've heard so many people like bending pin, like I gave a processor to a friend of mine, and he ended up bending the pins on it. I'm like, how? Like it's fine, but like, how do you do that? Oh well, happens. Oh yeah, the 2009 Mac Pro. Yeah, that's all Westmere. It is. First generation Intel Core. When they finally brought back hyperthreading, and it kind of sucked a little. I'll I'll say I think honestly the most effective use of hyperthreading was actually on the Atoms, the in order Atoms, where they decided they weren't going to do an out of order core. Instead, they were going to put the die space towards hyperthreading. Like the core was bad; it was very slow. But to be fair, you could run 2 threads on one core, and you would get about double the performance. Whatever that says about the core. I don't know how they managed to do that, but you run 2 threads on any other Intel processor, you get about 15% more performance. And on an Atom, you'll get another thread that runs about the same speed. It's not fast, but it does run about the same speed. I think they made the right decision with that, though. They went out of order with Bay Trail, and look at where they are now. Like the efficiency cores in 14th Gen and Core Ultra are pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Oh yeah, yep. Eaton's bad thing about PGA is there's no socket clamp, so if thermal paste gets stuck on the CPU strongly enough, removing the cooler without first twisting it rips the CPU out of the socket. I have definitely not done that several times. And I even know, like, twist the cooler before you get it off of there, and like I'll still forget and just like, be unscrewing the cooler and pop. Oh, that just came out of the socket. Damn. It still happens. It still happens. Dave Starbuck is running a 5950X with a 6900 XT running LMDE. That's definitely overkill, yeah. Definitely overkill. Considering, like, I've got that embedded Carrizo, like I said, in the other room. It's about a 15 watt 2-core bulldozer. Well, 4-core, 2-module bulldozer. And it runs a Wayland like a champ. Like, I don't know. I think it's probably fine. The only problem I've had with Wayland, honestly, is, like, I want to be able to control that machine remotely. Like, I want to be able to, like, because it's plugged into my sound system, right, in the living room. I want to be able to, like, run some music software on it, have it play some music. And I can't get a remote desktop server on it. Because, the way Wayland is set up, it's meant to be, like, super secure, right? Like, no Wayland app can talk to another Wayland app through the compositor. The compositor won't let you. Then that's by design, so that, apps can't snoop on each other. There's local machine security between apps, which isn't there, with X11 or honestly, with any of our other desktop operating systems. That security is not there. But, like, man, I really want to remote control that machine, and I haven't been able to find unless I run like a dedicated Wayland compositor that just outputs over VNC, like I can't find something I can just run on that machine and just have a VNC connection onto it from elsewhere. Starbucks is run a Windows virtual machine on it. Have I ever considered doing collabs with others on YouTube? I don't think I'm hot stuff enough to do collabs with people, but like I'm always down to like chat. I like talking old technology. Yeah, exactly. Eaton says can't attack something that doesn't exist. But also I'd like to use the functionality. Like it'd be nice to be there. It would be nice. John says no SSH minus Y. I don't think it works. I don't think you can tunnel Wayland over SSH the way you can with X. I don't know. But yeah, Mike Harbuck. Hello, welcome to the stream. Mike Harbuck says I use a number of 3rd gen Intel and Ryzen 3 1200s. It's all about what you do with it. Yeah, for real. First gen Zen is not bad. It's what, like, it's about 3rd or 4th gen Intel speed. Which was, remember when Ryzen launched and everyone's like, oh, wait, hang on. AMD's got a competitor. Like, it's not the same speed as Intel's right now, but, like, it's a big leap from Bulldozer. And, like, a 4-core Ryzen could put an 8-core Bulldozer to shame. That was pretty cool. It was fun when that came out. Hey, Eric. Eric's Edge is here. Hello, welcome. I'm actually wrapping up the stream, Eric. You just caught me right at the end. We're just chatting. You know what I need to do, though, is I need to record my voice lines for you, sir. I have been trying to dig through my storage unit and find my Tascam digital recorder so that I can record those lines and send them to you. I have been unsuccessful at finding it so far, but I will continue looking and I'll get those lines to you before the deadline. I apologize for that. I meant to get them to you last week. Eric says my usual tactic, joining the stream right at the end. Oh, Michael Harbuck says I finally had to retire the Core 2 quads. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I ran a Core 2 Duo for what I felt like was probably the longest amount of time. Yeah, that's fine. Eric says I have slight updates. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, send them over. I haven't recorded anything yet, so updates are good. Updates are good. Interesting. Eaton says I found a 2400G to have a very unstable graphics core when used under Linux. Only stable under Windows 10. Eaton, I would try retesting that maybe, because I haven't found that to be the case with my 2400G. Or I guess I have a 2200G, but it's basically the same core. The Vega graphics on those seem to be pretty okay, especially with newer releases. Case in point, the embedded Carrizo in my other room, which is, it's 3rd gen GCN, but it's extremely stable. Heh! That would be kind of cool to see. Yeah. DDR3 and Core 2? Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. Oh, it's a RAM speed. Oh, I see. I gotcha. Yeah, the DDR2 is getting hard to come by. That is true. That'd be pretty neat to see. Core 2 running DDR3. Yeah. Yeah, I found, for a long time, the 5600G that I was talking about. The one here that everyone voted to have me try doing ray tracing on, using the RADV Linux driver. It should be hilarious. I found it to be a pretty good all-around processor. Like, the cores are quite fast, being Zen 3, and the graphics are perfectly sufficient for a lot of, like, lower-end games. The GA-P35DS3R had both DDR2 and DDR3 slots. Nice. I want to say, when I was running when I was running a Core 2, again it was a like super cheap Dell Optiplex back in the day. It was one of the ones with the Matrix case. You remember the Matrix case? That was all, had the shiny silver sides and the all black plastics around, and you popped a thing in the back and the whole side of the case came off. It was great. Love that case design. I think it was an Optiplex 740, 760, something like that. 745, something like that. But I think that was a Q35 chipset on there. I don't remember if it must have been DDR2. I don't think Q35 was DDR3. But I certainly wouldn't expect like a Dell Q35 to be DDR3 if that wasn't normal for it. What was that? Q35. Let's look that up on the ARC. Does Intel ARC still exist? It does. Sort of. That's a blank page. Q33, Q35. Yeah, DDR2. It doesn't mention anything about using DDR3 in the white paper. I don't think so. I think Q35 had finally fixed that. Well, maybe not with the DDR3. Because I know with my Optiplex I was running 8 gigs, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like this is 2008. 8 gigs was fine. Because they had gotten past that 4 gig barrier from the chipset that was present in like 915 and the earlier chipsets, and 945, 915. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm talking about Q35. I guess P35 would be a different beast, huh? That would be the performance chipset rather than the business chipset. Makes me wonder. So I don't think I ever had a P35. Oh yeah, first commodity support of DDR3. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I mean, Wikipedia says it's 8 gigs addressable on DDR3, but, Wikipedia also doesn't think that the FX4200 exists, which I should get my FX4200 back out. That was a fun stream. That's a wild processor. Yeah, I'd believe that. Some of the newer Amiga accelerators use DDR3. Yeah, I would believe that. I would believe that. The stuff that they're doing with Amiga accelerators is kind of wild. The stuff the Amiga community does is way out there. Way, way out there. Alright, oh man, we're at 6 o'clock. I've gone for 3 hours. Well, I hope everybody's had a good time. This has been a lot of fun, honestly. I got places to be. Otherwise, I would keep streaming. We got 20 concurrents on YouTube. I don't know how many we've got on Twitch. Maybe we don't have any anymore. Everybody on Twitch left. But yeah, it's been a good stream, y'all. Yeah. You're welcome. John says thank you. You're welcome. Eaton as well. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, no, it's been a good time. Obviously, I've got links over here for the socials. I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing a Discord server. I don't want to like saddle moderation abilities or moderation duties onto any of my friends. So I don't know. We'll see about the Discord server. But and like, what would I even want, to happen in a Discord server? There's a couple of Discord servers I'm in where I open them up once in a while, and I get depressed just reading them. I don't want that to be what happens with mine. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, you have been watching Tech Ambrosia either on YouTube or on Twitch. I'm on both platforms. And of course, you can find me on social media over on bitbang.social on Mastodon, or on Blue Sky at techamber.bluesky.social. It's been a good stream, y'all. Hopefully, y'all have a good rest of your weekend. And as always, I'm gonna nope. I used the right. That's why I always get this so wrong, because like I've got to hit the sign off button with my right hand because my mouse is here, but then I also have to do the Hunger Games salute with my right hand because that's where my socials are not blocking my hands. That's why this sucks all the time. May the PC parts be ever in your favor. Have a good night. Take care, y'all. It's been a good stream. Talk to you next week.